it should come as no surprise that this is right up my alley. Oh boy, I love talking about this player from multiple points of views. He is a former Vancouver Canuck. He is a current inaugural member of the Utah Hockey Club. He is an all-quarter-century team member of the Utah Hockey Club, and he is now being tossed out there in potential trade conversations. So, Red Wings fans who are tuning into this video trying to get the scoop, I wanted to turn your attention to Utah's Ian Cole, and an article published on the Hockey News which links Cole to the Detroit Red Wings. This show, as always, is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there and check out the first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. I'm going to leave a link in the description as well to this post by Spencer Lazary from February 11th, 2025, 4 Utah HC players that could be moved at the trade deadline. Now, the article does go out there and try to give some food for thought as to where the Utah Hockey Club is in the NHL standings. Yeah, no, it's hockey club, right? It's a singular noun, not like the Vancouver Canucks as a pluralized noun. Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. Where the Utah Hockey Club is or are in the NHL standings, the article opens up by saying they are still within arm's reach of the final wildcard spot. They are currently 6 points back at the Vancouver Canucks for the last playoff spot in the West. However, after the Four Nations break, things could go one of two ways. The Utah HC could either go on a winning streak and stay in the hunt for a playoff spot, or they could fall out of the race due to poor play, which could force them to become sellers at the trade deadline. This article goes out there and names 4 guys on the team who could be potential trade options should the Utah HC fall out and decide to make some sort of a seller move. The 4 names are Kerfoot, Bjugstad, Ian Cole, and Kara Vejmelka, all of whom could provide valuable depth to a team looking to go on a deep playoff run. Now, I wanted to go out there and talk about the third guy here. Of course, you already know him, we introduced him already, it's Ian Cole. Cole is a veteran defenseman who can log big minutes and kill penalties, making him a valuable asset for any contending team. If he is moved, expect interest from the Lightning, the Panthers, and the Detroit Red Wings. Hey, what do you say? Could Ian Cole be a meaningful addition to the Detroit Red Wings, and will the Tampa Bay Lightning be an obstacle in this sort of a transaction? Cole is 35 years old, 6'1", 238, so he's a chonky dude. Left-handed guy signed on till the end of this season, making $3.1 million a year. You can say, hey, why is this guy making so much money? 3.1 is quite a lot for a guy who's 35 and who had signed this contract as a free agent last summer. Now, I didn't realize this, I only saw this upon going onto Puckpedia, but Ian Cole was making a lot of money in other seasons of his career. $2.1 million for 4 years as a member of the Penguins, then a $4.25 million contract for Colorado, which spanned multiple years. Eventually, he was in Carolina for $2.9 million, Tampa for $3 million, and then he got to Vancouver for $3 million a year too. Ian Cole's been making bank the past few seasons, and for good reason too. The guy has been very solid in his own end, and a lot of his play over the past few years, you're not going to see incredible point production out of. He maxed out at 26 points in a season, 65 games played with the Colorado Avalanche in 2019-2020. But heading into other organizations like Minnesota, like Carolina, Tampa, Vancouver, and Utah, Ian Cole has brought some very stable defensively minded coverage and shot blocking ability. In the Vancouver Canucks organization last year, he was one of the better top 4 D-men on the team. Now, everybody's going to go out there and start crapping on Ian Cole because of all the own goals that he had scored against the Edmonton Oilers in the Round 2 series, but throughout the middle parts of that 23-24 year, Ian Cole getting, let's just say, 16 to 19 minutes per game, he was a very solid guy, and he didn't produce much points. That's true, but he was a stable guy who could block shots and just kind of be a physical element to that blue line. The top 6 with Quinn Hughes, Phil Hronek, Carson Soucy, Tyler Myers, Ian Cole, and eventually Nikita Zadorov, it was kind of an unstoppable decor. And I say that fully knowing that they were able to get eliminated and they didn't really pull their weight against the Oilers. And sure, you can say that Ian Cole played a very big part in Edmonton winning that series, but then again, you could argue the Canucks forwards definitely did not carry their own weight either. So there's a lot of variance and discussion to be had there with the deployment and the results. But ultimately, Ian Cole is a stabilizing force, and he's a guy who, with limited minutes, can be a lot more effective than he was towards the end of his Vancouver tenure. We're seeing that with the Utah Hockey Club now in 2024-2025. It's interesting because he actually has been given more minutes with Utah. 23, 24 minutes, this is not uncommon for Ian Cole in 2024-2025, at 35 years old nonetheless. Now, sure, it's gotten a little bit reduced ever since Utah got some big names coming back. You finally have John Marino suiting up in games on this blue line. He is a huge, important addition. You have other star-studded names like Mikhail Sergachev on the top pairing, so Ian Cole's spot on the team isn't necessarily like the most important. But if there is an inkling in his body that wants to go out there and start chasing for a playoff spot, then a team like Tampa could use him. A team like Detroit could use him. We can talk all this talk about the Detroit Red Wings and some of the play out of guys like Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petrie when he is in the lineup, and Eric Gustafsson too, but Ian Cole as an extra, bottom pair guy, a seventh guy, somebody to replace the extra minutes of a guy like Justin Hall, for example, I think could be a really great addition. In fact, if you wanted to put Ian Cole on the third pairing, move Gustafsson to the right side so you have a one-timer option. I don't know how Gustafsson would play on his offhand. We know he can do it because he does that on the power play, quite literally. But ultimately, I think that's a really interesting idea, isn't it not? If Ian Cole were to go over to a team like Detroit, then all of a sudden you don't really need to worry about that bottom pairing. I don't know about you, but I'd trust Ian Cole a lot more than I'd trust Justin Hall, for example. And then Ian Cole in Tampa Bay, that's a really great link because he has history with that organization already. He had a season with them in 2022-2023, looked pretty alright. He's a two-time Stanley Cup champion, so it's kind of why they went after him in the first place. 2 cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2016 and 2017, so there's a lot of playoff experience there with Cole. There's a lot of cup-winning experience, and if a team like Detroit or Tampa is going to get into some sort of a bidding war for this guy, then watch out, because honestly, I think he's one of the more underrated guys to go out there and get. We're seeing Vancouver Canucks fans bring it up on social media and the radio here in Vancouver. Hey, the Canucks should have re-signed Ian Cole. Forget Nikita Zadorov. They should have brought this guy back. And so now we're talking about him one more time in trade rumors because his contract isn't really the worst thing in the world. It's only 1 season long anyway, and the Utah Hockey Club could be in a position to trade him. Who really knows? So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of an Ian Cole trade? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's not? If you're a fan of Tampa, you're a fan of Detroit, what are your thoughts on your team acquiring this particular guy? And if you're a Utah fan, what do you think the trade price should be for Ian Cole? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.